Former NBA player Kevin Garnett does an interview explaining how the they had an agenda to push LeBron James to the NBA Finals so he can win and get his first NBA championship.
2012, the famous season that's commemorated in this movie. Going to the Miami series, 2-2 at Miami Game 5.
Right.
Celtics win in Miami, and they're talking all kinds of shit to LeBron. All kinds of shit that whole game. Correct or incorrect? You're trying to get in his head. You feel like you can break LeBron at this point?
We broke LeBron.
In Game 5.
So get your out of here with that, all right? You understand how you got the Cleveland, how you got the Miami bill? You remember
That's
that?
true. You broke him in 2010.
Okay, so remember that, all right?
Fair
so
enough.
Stop bringing that up, all right?
Fair enough.
So they was talking to him, okay? The media. And the league knew that they had an agenda in which we wasn't part of the agenda. You understand? Right. And that's how they ended up winning that series. Yeah, I said it. He was trying to consolidate because he didn't want the pressure on him.
I'm still mad about it. I feel like we could have beaten them.
I'm sure, but we weren't part of the agenda.
Yeah.
The agenda was Miami.
Now, my only counter to Kevin Garnett is the same way you could call out the RBA being rigged for LeBron James, which it is. But Kevin Garnett should also be honest about how his career is scripted also. Every player in the league career is scripted. It go from the pros to college. Kevin Garnett knows that they had to sell the story. See, LeBron James is a repackaged, recreated Michael Jordan. Early on in the beginning of Michael Jordan's career, if you notice, he played against the Boston Celtics. When Michael Jordan went up against the Boston Celtics, he had to go up against Larry Bird, Kevin McHale. They were basically a stacked and established team during that time. When they speak about Michael Jordan kept getting destroyed by the Boston Celtics. Fast forward to LeBron James' career, 2008, 2009, 2010. And LeBron's first stint with the Cavs, what did he do? He went up against the Boston Celtics. No different than Michael Jordan did. But it's all scripted. This is how they play on the minds of the public. In LeBron's second stint with the Cavs, they had LeBron James go against the Celtics. But this Celtics had Isaiah Thomas on there, little Isaiah Thomas. And remember, Michael Jordan was going against Isaiah Thomas, but he was on the Pistons. And this Isaiah Thomas supposedly got his name from Isaiah Thomas, but this is their way of flipping the script. It's just another form of keeping us entertained and keeping us distracted. That's just diversion. It's all a distraction. It's smoke and mirrors. So they could keep this illusion, so they could keep you in this dream state, so to speak. It's not real. It's WWE. But he says the league knew they had an agenda, that they wasn't a part of the agenda. But it all has to come together in order for the stage to be set for the future. When the Celtics won back in 2008, they had to win so the storyline opens the door for when they defeat LeBron James. Because had they would have kept losing, eventually they would have broke up. So if they broke up, LeBron James probably would have had an easier path to the finals. The Celtics series is what pushed LeBron James to go to Miami. So they had to win. They had to get that championship. LeBron James is one of the greatest actors on the world stage. So when you say LeBron James committing these turnovers, that's him throwing the game. He's acting. LeBron James went to Miami to play the villain. They build these Jesus-type figures. He was the chosen one. They call Jesus the chosen one, God's son, the chosen one. But he's the opposite of that. So he became the villain. You know how Satan, the villain, evil, he had to have his revenge moment against the Boston Celtics. Michael Jordan didn't get his revenge moment against the Boston Celtics. In 2009 and the Boston Celtics in 2010 playing against LeBron, they were allowed to be physical. There's no way the Orlando Magic with Dwight Howard was able to defeat the Boston Celtics, and the Cleveland Cavaliers couldn't. LeBron James had already advanced to the RBA finals. He has finals experience. LeBron James is a far better player than Dwight Howard. But if you put LeBron James on that Orlando Magic team, they would have said that LeBron James had no help. If LeBron James would have played with that Orlando Magic team, Michael Petrus, Hedo Turkoglu, Jameer Nelson, they would have said that he had no help. So that goes to show you that it's just all scripted. So the Boston Celtics were allowed to be extremely physical and they were able to swarm LeBron. And then people be like, oh, David Stern, he wasn't the better owner. LeBron James going to Miami went down under David Stern watch. Kevin Garnett going to the Boston Celtics happened under David Stern's watch. So he's letting you know that it's scripted without telling you that it's scripted. They're putting the little hints right there in front of you. As we go back and analyze the media coverage of LeBron James' free agency decision back in 2010, you see how the media was subliminally showing you who LeBron James was signed to. They even hired what they call a crisis actor because all of it was scripted, even the fans' outcry. When LeBron made his decision, then he had the fans burning the jerseys. But there was this one fan in particular who flew from Miami just to go stand outside a building in hopes that LeBron James would sign with the Miami Heat. Now, I know that there's some crazy fans, but let's be realistic. Who's going to fly from Miami all the way to Cleveland in hopes that their favorite player signs with their team? And he mentioned that Chris Bosh had already been signed there, but maybe it's just me not knowing the dates. But Chris Bosh didn't do a sign and trade until I believe July 7th. It couldn't be official till July the 9th. The media coverage of LeBron James took place July 1st, which is when the day that LeBron James officially became a free agent. So how did he know that Chris Bosh was already signed to the Miami Heat? Looking at things at real time, you didn't even pay attention to the little small details, but they were putting the truth right in plain sight. Even when you seen they had a magazine cover with LeBron James hugging on D Wade. So they was putting the truth right in front of us. It's just that we were so entertained. But I'm gonna let you guys see for yourselves.
It's D-Day for LeBron. The first day the King is a free agent. Now a full court press is underway to get LeBron to leave Cleveland. And the question for the Cavs, will a change help keep LeBron here?
What a wild day today. Heavy hitters from the Nets and the Knicks come to Cleveland to entice our homegrown superstar.
Coach, and we're live in LeBron's hometown. Plus, a big show of support tonight for LeBron. But we're going to begin with News Channel 5's Paul Kiska with the latest on some big names who are here today. Paul?
Well, it's been a day of limousines, private jets, and celebrities parading in and out of Cleveland. The LeBron James Derby off to the races. LeBron James leaves his house this morning and arrives at his agency that leases offices in the IMG building at East 9th and St. Clair Avenue in downtown Cleveland. Then the limos start showing up. These limos carrying New Jersey Nets owner, Russian billionaire Mikhail Prokhorov, and part owner Jay-Z. They arrive to meet with LeBron. Also in the meeting, Nets coach Avery Johnson. Later, this private jet carrying the New York Knicks owner, president, and coach land at Burke Lakefront Airport. Their limousines pull into IMG a half an hour after the New Jersey Nets finish their meeting with LeBron.
I'm out here to hopefully get a glimpse of LeBron James.
Outside IMG, fans wearing shirts and waving signs, encouraging LeBron to stay home in Cleveland.
Home is where the heart is, and I believe he'll stay right here with us Clevelanders.
I think it's craziness, LeBron frenzy.
But this family hopes LeBron heads south.
We are from Miami, visiting Cleveland, and got to say my hopes is to see LeBron with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. We are from Miami, visiting Cleveland, and got to say my hopes is to see LeBron with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
We are from Miami, visiting Cleveland, and got to say my hopes is to see LeBron with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
Over in Miami.
And check out today's front page of the New York Daily News. Simply put, sign him. And there's the New York Post's website, which puts LeBron in the middle of a tug of war between the Nets and the Knicks. And you can't forget about Chicago, with the top of the Tribune's newspaper saying the future of the Chicago Bulls lies with what LeBron decides. The Akron Beacon-Journal proclaims, ready or not, LeBron enters free agent market. And then there's the Cleveland Plain Dealer with the headline, Here we go.
But between LeBron James and a new head coach, it really was quite a day. First up, as we told you on Newsnet 5 last night at 2:30 in the morning, Byron Scott is the new head coach of the Cavaliers. What an interesting story about the way this played out, that Brian Shaw, the assistant from the Lakers, had the job. Now, it's understandable based on reports that were earlier that maybe why people thought he had the job, because both agents on both sides, for Shaw and for Scott, were saying that it was pretty much a done deal. But Tuesday night, the Cavaliers ownership group decided that Byron Scott was the right man for the job, and he had what the Cavs wanted, an experienced coach who'd made it to the finals as a coach and has the championship qualities of a player that knows how to land a ring. It's reported to be a 4-year deal. It sounds exactly like what LeBron James was asking for at the end of the season. It took a little bit longer to get this deal done because Scott was in Arkansas and his cell phone coverage was a little bit spotty. All right, so Byron Scott's going to lead the Cavs into the future. The next question, though, is will he be able to have LeBron James on the roster?
And we were in our coaches meeting and we were talking about it, and he was still pretty sure that LeBron wasn't leaving. I said, well, you know what? I can find out. You know, he said, really? I said, yeah, I can find out. I'll give somebody I know a call. And they said, well, who's this somebody? I said, well, I'm not going to tell you who, but he knows LeBron really well. He said, okay, well, give him a call. So I go to my office and I call Chris Paul. And I said, CP, this is Coach. Coach, what's going on? I said, I need to know from you, is LeBron leaving or staying? Coach, I'll call you back. We get off the phone. I sit in the office for about 3 minutes. Phone rings. I answered it. Coach, CP. I said, CP, what's happening? He's gone, Coach. Just like that. He said, he's gone. I said, really? He said, yep, he's gone. I said, all right, thanks, CP. Hang up the phone. I go back in another room. I sit there. So what you find out? I said, he's gone. That's what my guy told me. He's gone. He ain't going nowhere. It's all right.
So Kevin Garnett did an interview with the Bleacher Report. He was basically explaining how his decision to go to the Boston Celtics was much different than what LeBron James and Kevin Durant did. It was different because these were the best players, the best individual players. And then they went to another stacked team. But here he speaks about the script. He says Garnett admits that going to the Celtics led more players to look for super teams. So he says, I can say that just like when I came out of high school and gave people a script of this can't work if it's done like this, I thought that the decision to go to Boston had the same kind of ripple effect. It made other players go, okay, I can do that, because Detroit had something special on their hands, but they didn't see those 5 as stars. Tayshaun Prince had to blossom into what he was. Rip Hamilton wasn't known as a great mid-range shooter like he was. Chauncey Billups was bounced from team to team. She had his own challenges. Ben Wallace wasn't drafted, wasn't a big name, and those guys came together and made something unbelievable. That team was scripted as well. He says when those guys won, they won. Doc used that as a script for us. Ultimately, what he means is they were following a script. He's been following a script since high school and probably before. It's scripted for them to win. It's scripted for them to lose. We didn't even pay attention to these hidden messages. There was this article written by Chris Forisberg, ESPN staff writer. The title of the article is Beginning with End in Mind. So he speaks about the Boston Celtics and Boston Celtics run in 2009, 2010. This is what he says, May 9th, 2010, Celtics Cavaliers, flipping switches, turning out Cavs lights. The playoffs were going pretty much to script. You hear that? The playoffs were going pretty much to script. Boston raced through the Heat in 5 games, then found itself clinging to its playoff life after the Cavaliers handed the Celtics their worst home playoff loss with a 124-95 triumph in Game 3. This is how they play on your intelligence. They try to use this like reverse psychology. He purposely threw the game. It wasn't that he quit because of the Boston Celtics, which is such a great team. Brian Windhorst pointed out in an article that LeBron James came closer to beating that Boston Celtics team back in 2008 when the Celtics had advanced to the RBA Finals. He said they were closer to defeating the Boston Celtics than they were being able to defeat the Orlando Magic. LeBron had won 66 games. LeBron's teams in 08, 09, 2010 were far better than his 2017 when they advanced to the NBA Finals. LeBron James had to leave in order for them to draft Kyrie Irving. It was rigging the draft, clearly. I mean, it was obviously a scripted draft to keep getting number 1 picks. They end up selecting Andrew Wiggins. They trade Andrew Wiggins to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So LeBron James, he went to Miami. They ended up drafting Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving built himself up into a so-called all-star. And then once he got his experience, LeBron James came back and played with Kyrie Irving and was able to get Kevin Love.